Hello, ladies and gentlemen. How are you? How are you doing this fine evening? So, I see a whole lot of drama going on with Thailand, and they say they don't want Black people to visit. And I did hear an article that someone was reading about why, and that it was mainly, I believe, Nigerian and some other foreign Black person, and just Black people. There are people too. So, anyway, I wanted to let you in on Thailand. I never felt like, oh, I want to go to Thailand. Oh, I think Thailand is beautiful. I want to go there. Never, ever, ever felt that way. Never, never. So let's take a look at what Thailand has. Okay. So let's look here. Oh, wow. I already kind of knew this because I seen a documentary about Thailand, and it has a lot of prostitutes. A lot of prostitutes. So, Vice City inside Thailand's seedy sex capital, Pattaya, where thousands of prostitutes sell themselves to tourists after cops nab Brits at illegal orgy. Let's look at this article about Thailand. After a government crackdown last year, the sex industry in Pattaya appears to be seedier than ever. So this is out by Mark Hodge, John Lockett, and Luke Williams. 23rd February 2017, updated 23rd April 8, 2018. So the Thai city of Pattaya has an estimated, listen to this, 27,000 prostitutes, and is known as the world's neon lit sex capital. Promising career for their female children. That is very sad. Let's dig deeper into this. The resort, located in the east of Thailand, has been branded the modern-day Sodom and Gomorrah, the biblical kingdom infested with vices and sin. There up top, you see go-go girls, and they play on their mobile phones as they wait for work. Yesterday, 11 foreign tourists were arrested along with 14 sex workers during a raid on an illegal orgy at Pattaya Hotel. Footage from the raid on the Tulip Hotel shows the sweaty, semi-naked, middle-aged men whom had reportedly paid 35 euro, well, I don't know if it's euros, it's Thailand money. So 35 in the Thailand money to take part in an orgy, trying to cover their faces with towels of embarrassment as they are rounded up by police. And so you're going to see them down here. So footage of the raid is shown in this picture. When they blur out the pictures of the faces, cops arrived to find people allegedly having group sex in a hotel room that was scattered with condoms, lubricants, sexual enhancement, drugs, and toys. The tourists reportedly came from Britain, Australia, America, Canada, China, Malaysia, Singapore, Germany, Thailand, Cambodia, India, and Ukraine. So here you see a glimpse of it right here. And this was the raid, and this is the people kind of trying to put their head down. And this is the crackdown right here. Police raid Thailand hotel orgy. A hotel full of orgy, including Brits with young Thai women, before arresting the owner for hosting illegal sex parties. The hotel's Chinese owner was arrested. Oh, the hotel's owners He was a Chinese guy and he was arrested on suspicion of running a hotel without a license and hosting obscene events. Over 1 million tourists visit Pattaya because it's well known for prostitution, vices, and orgies. Every year, and many of them are white Western men who frequent the city. Hundreds of strip bars are there and go-go clubs and brothels, because that's what it's meant for. Many sex workers come from an impoverished, and so this is the reason why, people, so there's a reason for it. In Thailand, these women are coming for money. They're sex workers and they come from impoverished Northeast and see selling their bodies as a way out of the poverty. And that is sad. That's not funny at all. It's very sad. But this is what is so wrong with Thailand. Prostitutes can earn up to 5,000 BAHT, 114 a night. So that's considered a lot of money in that country, nearly 20 times the minimum wage of 300 BAHT and 7 per day. So that's a lot, considered a lot of money. Now, I'm doing this because whoever in Thailand thinks that this is cool, this isn't. Exploiting your women, making them desperate that they feel they got to use their bodies just to feed themselves and just to make it in life, not cool. Not a place I would want to jump on a plane and visit. So I don't feel bad if they don't want me or people like me there. Because if that's what's going on there, forget it. Count me out. So this is some of the women pictured here. Bar girls entertain men at the night spot along the walking streets. So it's almost like if you were to go to Amsterdam, but only it's extreme because they offer nothing but sexual favors. So the Thai prostitute shows off her goods to the passerby. So they're just that desperate that they'll show themselves in public. And this is really sad in terms of women. And so this exploits women. This puts women in a really bad position in that country. So bar girls, they hold signs to attract customers. You're seeing it here. And now you're seeing young prostitutes dance on poles in the city's notorious go-go bars. And so they're everywhere in Thailand. Last year, News.com reporter Luke Williams visited Pattaya and spoke to the Western tourists who visited the sleazy sex capital. So it's known, Thailand, Pattaya is known as a sleazy sex capital. Sleazy, not attractive and bright and wow and oh, spectacular, but sleazy. A local police officer told him that the city is like Cowboy Town in the Wild West 100 years ago. A popular t-shirt sold at stalls features the slogan, "Good guys go to heaven and bad guys go to Pattaya." Okay, so the popular t-shirt sold at stalls features that slogan. And so it goes on to say that prostitution is illegal in Thailand, but for decades, lawmakers and police have turned a blind eye, enabling sex industry to thrive there until now. So now they're trying to crack down on this, which is really going to be hard because that is what is basically known for. I saw a movie recently, and that's what they showed is go-go women like this. And it was about, it was like a ghost movie, and it was airing on Netflix, and they're pretty big on, you know, when they go to, you know, what are they big on in terms of horror stuff is ghost. And so they have some really creepy ghost stories. And, you know, they had this, I think the name of the movie might have been called Ghost House. I'm not sure. But it was entertaining. but they did show a scene where there were bars like this and go-go girls, and it was just a thing to do, and they were topless. And so that's probably why they have blurred the top of the girls. And so prostitution is illegal, they say, but it's all over the place in Thailand. But for decades, lawmakers and police officers have turned the blind eye, enabling the sex industry to thrive until now. Human rights groups have long been concerned about exploitation and human trafficking in Thailand, which is a big problem. So Thailand's sex industry, which is said to date back to the Korean and Vietnam Wars, when foreign troops would be stationed nearby, and you know that is very problematic because that's probably where they frequent, is the bars, and these girls soliciting themselves. But for years, authorities appeared to do little about it. And Pattaya's reputation for lawlessness grew a lot stronger until Thailand's first female tourism minister announced everything would change. And it had to take a female to announce that they wanted change. So listen to that. And so women walk along the streets where the bars and sex scenes are commonplace, which I noticed that from a movie I was watching. It looked like a foreign version, another foreign version, like a Thailand version of Amsterdam. And so here it is here, a Thai sex worker looking for a client in Pattaya. So they're just out and about looking for people. And I want to make mention too, also, some of these people like that you see are not all women either. Some of them are males that are trans, and sometimes guys who are unsuspecting don't know. I'm not saying that to say anything bad about people who are, but guys who are naive tend to not really be careful, and if they're not into that, they end up with a woman like this, and then they find out it isn't really, in fact, a woman. So they too, I believe, I don't know if it may be this country where, I believe it's Thailand and another place where you can go and get like a lot of surgery done to your body for really, really cheap, but it's really dangerous, is what I heard. I saw a documentary about that. And a lot of people, if they want to do breast lifts, butt lifts, or they want to add more to their bottom or their breast, or they want to change something about themselves, they have people in some of these countries that'll do it for a lot less, but the risk is high and you don't know what could happen. So a lot of people will get certain things done to their body, go to these places to do it. So they come here for our beautiful culture. Okay, so tourists don't come to Thailand for such a thing, she said. We want Thailand to be about quality tourism. Yeah, right. We want the sex industry gone. Okay, so that's what the woman wants. The woman that is supposed to be an advocate against all of this. So it's like I said, I was right. Okay, so let me read the top part. It says, Cobb Karn Watanarv, now this is a funny name that I can't pronounce, it's very long, vowed to shut down Pattaya's sex industry and do away with its world's famous ladyboys. And you know, that's what this is up here. It's actually a male dressed as a female. But that's why I said that. It wasn't to be mean or anything. I knew it was a man, but some guys would probably think, oh, that's another woman. So go-go dancers and ping pong shows when she announced a crackdown in 2016. So she said tourists don't come to Thailand for such a thing. Yeah, right. That's what I said. They come here for the beautiful culture. Not anymore. It's for the sex. So we want, according to this article and from what I'm seeing and what I've been hearing about other people who have been there. So we want Thailand to be about quality tourism, and we want the sex industry gone. So what followed was months of late night raids and mass arrests in brothels clubs across Pattaya, with Western tourists Among those nabbed by police, officers also stormed pubs and clubs, seizing drugs, tobacco, and drug testing patrons. So while the crackdown settled things down for a while, residents said Pattaya was well and truly back to its old tricks. Yeah, because I think if that's all it's been known for, then it's going to be hard to get rid of that, especially if they, for so long, have turned a blind eye. It's like the booming business out there. And it may have become worse now that they did the crackdown, because now you have people who are just persistent on doing this. And if they're impoverished countries, people that are in that and they're trying to make money, they're not going to want to let this go, which is a sad thing. So the government has pledged to shut down Pattaya's sex bars. We'll see how that works. A vice girl sits inside the police station after being arrested. Okay, so I guess there must have been a video that was attached to this. Maybe because a lot of stuff went on in this city or whatever. It was so heavy talked about, and so some of the videos are not viewable. But the city has seen a spike in violent crime over the past 12 months, including brawls between tourists. In February, Melbourne man Benjamin Robb was brutally bashed to death at a Ruby Club, a licensed venue in Pattaya's notorious CO6 laneway. His alleged attacker, American man Jose Manuel Polanco, claimed he attacked Mr. Robb in self-defense after seeing an Australian strangle a sex worker. Okay, so days later, a massive fight broke out on the walking street between British tourists and men in the Middle Eastern appearance, or they had a Middle Eastern appearance. And so meanwhile, the sex industry has continued to thrive despite the crackdowns. That's exactly what I was thinking it was going to do. It's going to get worse. Businesses have found a loophole to avoid prosecution and for the prostitution. So they hire sex workers in the bars to talk to patrons, but offer a bar fine of about 500 BAHTs. I guess that's the money in Thailand, or $20, which lets the patrons secure private time with the worker to strike up a deal for the sex. And so the Thai woman waits for her next customer at a go-go bar. And so this is something they continuously do. And so this is just still photos of that nightlife out there. And so it's a bar girl who negotiates a price with a man for her services or her sex services. And so what they're trying to do is do it in a discreet pattern where they can't get prosecuted, but it's still relatively going on. So a Thai ladyboy, and so this is not a woman, this is a male that is dressed as a female, and they refer to them as ladyboys, is checked by police after being arrested. And so operators have also found ways to move the sex trade offshore. And so this is really prevalent. And so earlier this month, German authorities raided 62 proprieties, okay, and arrested 7 men they allege brought the Thai sex worker to Germany on a fake tourist visa. And so this is a big deal. This is a constant thing or problematic situation that goes on there. So British journalist Andrew Drummond, who specializes in crime in Thailand, said that other challenge to shutting down the sex trade was that it was a lucrative business for many facets of Pattaya society. And so it is said to benefit everyone from the sex workers who often relied on earnings to support their families, to hotels, taxis, and the mafia as well, and allegedly the police. And so they do have a mafia out there as well. And so I wouldn't be surprised if they were behind most of this. So he said that the system was known as the Pon Prayote. And so it means everyone benefits. That's what it means, Drummond said. It brings massive amounts of money and simply couldn't happen without police connivance. Okay. And so here, cops hunt Randy tourist couple filmed romping in Pattaya's beach. And I'm not going to play that. I'm sorry. I'm going to be respectful. You know, some people say, play it, play it, play it. I'm not going to do it. So this is a guy who is romping with probably one of the sex workers. And so I'm just going to pan back up. This is the lady boy being arrested in Thailand. And they're checking, the police is checking his bags. And this is the bar girls who are associating with customers and trying to negotiate prices and fees for their sex services. This is Thai women who are waiting for customers at go-go bars so they can perform sexual services for money. And as we go up, there were videos, but there's also a vice girl who sits in the police station after being arrested. And this is the government that has pleaded to shut down Pattaya sex bars, and this is a view of some of the bars. And, you know, there's lots of lights, and I noticed that in the movie I was watching. I believe it was called Ghost House. It was a pretty good movie, but about, you know, these ghosts in the house and all this kind of stuff. It was like one of those films, if you're into that kind of stuff. But they tell some really neat ghost stories, but this is really Thailand. It's a lot of sex work, a lot of prostitution, a lot of drugs, a lot of illegal activity goes on out there. So you're not missing much. I'm just letting you know. Anyway, unless you're into that kind of craziness, and this is not only in Thailand, this happens in other places like Vegas, Amsterdam, some other places. There's some places here in America that this kind of stuff happens. You know, it just so happens that Thailand has a multitude of prostitution that they claim is illegal, but it goes on constantly. And the bar is just reflected. It's like everywhere you look. And the country's certain areas are so impoverished where the women, this is their fate. This is unfortunate fate of what they've been kind of forced into because of the poverty there. And so it's an unfortunate, sad situation. So I just wanted to let you know, I'm not, you know, saying that this is a good thing at all. It's really sad that women have to feel that they have to be made to do this. And this happens in a lot of places. It's not just Thailand, but Thailand specifically has a large problem with sex trafficking. It's one of the many countries that has this. But anyway, without further ado, this is actually the raid or the crackdown, what have you. Okay, hang on a second. I'm kind of looking here. I'm kind of going up. And so this is the raid that they're having in Thailand in this sex orgy party. And so you get to, you know, that's the footage right there. And so that just pretty much indicates it's what goes on out there. Okay, so that there you have it. And so for those of you that have these videos about how Thailand doesn't want Black people, well, you see, this is part of what goes on out there, and so not really missing very much. It's very sad. And so, having said that, I'm going to let this video go. I think that was another video that was unrelated to unrelated. Yeah, here it is right here. I guess it's it's to another article. So, but anyway, this is really sad. I don't think this is funny at all about these girls and what they're having to subject themselves to. It's really sad. I believe I don't know what these images are. Yeah, it may be just more photos of what, goes on in that area of Thailand. But anyway, I'm going to leave this video a go, and thanks for listening.